What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Shorts back again with another Rush Rundown. This time we're going to go over Fate Stay Night mainline in the English competitive metagame. This will be a quick, concise overview of Fate's strengths, weaknesses, and notable cards that you need to know in order to effectively play into it all in 10 minutes or less. While these aren't meant to be totally comprehensive videos, we've included a lot of information on a lot of these slides, so feel free to pause if you think I'm moving too quickly, get some of that good info. Alright, so let's move right into it. So Fate's been out for a really long time. The most recent, most popular deck revolves around like always having perfect deck states and grinding out the game until it can win. It's that 8-bar build that you've probably seen running around so that it can consistently cancel attacks over and over until it can win, sometimes with just vanilla swings. Pretty much all the relevant Fate builds out there are going to try to reverse you at level 1, but since they can basically always get to level 1 first, which I'll get into, it's really hard to deny them. Most of the finishers being run now are on attack, no matter what build, but older top ends might need reverses for some things. And in fact, there's the caster restander that does need a reverse to go off, so be aware of that. Oh, and Gill's a thing. Alright, so getting right into it, the Shiro Avenger. So this is one of the most powerful profiles ever. Basically, it just gives all of the master characters on your field clock on core, no matter what level they are. So basically what this means is that Fate can always control when it gets to level 1. They can use their health to plus on field, making sure they always have good hand size. And it's just like an extremely, extremely powerful profile. This has never been printed again. One of the craziest things, this card jumped in value like crazy when Heaven's Fill came out, and for good reason. Big one being the 1-0 Sakura Clock Bomb that they can use to constantly deny your opponent at the expense of their health by constantly bombing your opponent's cards to clock. Crazy card to watch out for. Really important to remember when you're playing the level 0 game because they can always have as many cards as they want on field. Moving on, so we got the Rider. So this card is the big defensive wall. Basically, a Nexo wall forces your opponent to side and also just kills any card that's in front of it that's 3,000 power printed on the card or less, which means the card instantly dies. This card is easier to answer than you think. You can bounce it, you can wind it, you can do a bunch of things. Still important to remember, it's a crazy defensive finisher that doesn't target, so hexproof doesn't out it. There's something very important to keep in mind. This is like a big finishing star of the 8-bar build. Alright, so this other one, I don't know why Fate has this card. This is one of the nastiest cards. This is just pure stock swap. It has a fake condition about having green characters on field. This hard punishes level 1 stock charging strategies, something like Yun, even though Fate is a deck that is classically thought of as disadvantaged against Konosuba. One of the nastiest things you can do against as a Fate player when your opponent stock charges level 1 is just instantly ruin their second deck. Really crazy effect. Important to remember that they have access to this. Fate isn't a set based on how their game plan that you think that they would. Make sure you remember that they have this. So this is the big one that makes 8-bar Fate as crazy as it is. So this is yet another one of these free freshes. This one cantrips, it draws a card. Basically, it's a 1-stock heal, and it replaces itself. Make sure Fate always has a perfect deck state every turn past level 2. Fate will regularly mill itself out every turn all the time just to make sure that it can play this card, because like I said, it is effectively a 1-stock heal. Pretty crazy, big reason the deck's around. It has perfect synergy with their sort of crash board, cancel all the time game plan. Really important to remember. So this one, the Gill. So this is kind of a meme combo, but it's become a lot more real with Heaven's Feel because they have a 2-soul combo at level 0. They can kind of like play no level 1s and just play a bunch of soul triggers. This card burns you for every soul trigger your opponent mills in 2 cards after it gets a reverse. You can also just get 4,000 power for as much hand as your opponent has. So there's almost no way to get rid of this, to not have this effect go off unless you just don't have a slot. Be aware of this. If you see this card, be very afraid. It will kill you. Don't disrespect the card. Coin flip, like I said, becoming a lot more real lately. Alright, so counters. The big one here is the 1-0 Rin counter. It is a Ditch 2 anti-change, similar to Shaken Megumin. This card did come first, though. They also have access to just a normal 2K. They have a memory kick counter, and they also have a costless sack, which is only played in the Ilya Berserker deck. But important thing to keep in mind if you do run into that. One of the most powerful cards in blue. Other stuff, so Bomb and Clear. So they have access to basically all of them. I've put up the most recent ones that show up in most decks here. Big ones, the Ilya, because 8-bar decks are also in blue. And also, of course, the Anti-Heroic Knight Rider. This card isn't a traditional early play killer, but it does basically play for 0 when it gets a reverse and gets to massive power levels. So keep an eye out for those. Common builds, like I've been saying, 8-bar Fate, one of the craziest decks when it was in JP. Thankfully, we don't have the 3-3 event, so it's not as nuts here, but it's still important to remember. just how crazy at sustaining the game this deck can be, as long as your opponent is canceling like they should, with pretty crazy compression. They have a lot of tools to mitigate the effects of having 8 bars, so their hands don't get clogged up with them. They can filter them out. It's definitely a really crazy deck, and Fate's really popular, so you're probably going to see it more than you think, despite the cost of the deck. There's also Coin Flip. I put it up here. I think Coin Flip, personally, is a lot stronger than people give it credit for. It is a, like I said, quote-unquote meme deck, but still very strong. Gil is an incredible game ender that comes online at level 2 and basically can't be denied unless you just have an open field, which is pretty good for Coin Flip anyway, because all they want to do is slam you for damage. So the 2 big ones to look out for are here. So final review, Ricky, not really. They probably have something like that somewhere, but it doesn't matter. You can't level lock them because of Shiro. They can clock themselves whenever they want. So yeah, you can't level lock this set. Rin anti-change counter is definitely the most poppable option, but they do run the clears, they do run the rider 2-1, they have access to it all. Definitely be on top of your opponent's grave and know what they have. Most popular build, definitely 8 gold bars. Like I said, big thing. Having perfect deck state all game. Can control whenever it hits level 1, which turns off a lot of other deck denial strategies. Big thing, that 1-0 Sakura Clock Bomb, in conjunction with the Shiro Avenger, basically like turns off AOT unless they sack out at 1-0. Really, really crazy deck manipulation game with like the Ilya Azusa and the Free Fresh. Just really, really theoretically strong. I say theoretically because the deck can be really bad at recovering from damage deficits because it doesn't have access to the 3-3 event. It can really struggle to come back from getting hit up early because it can only heal so much with some of its level 3s. They have a stock healer, they have the rider, which also heals, they have some other tech, but the big thing is like they can't come back when you hit them early. So you might want to push them if you see the opportunity to do so. The set popularity, very high. A lot of people are into Fate as a property and are bought into Fate as a set from way back when. They have all those cards that are very expensive now. They have access to them, and getting the Heaven's Feel stuff wasn't that hard when it came out. So you'll see this deck a lot. So definitely be aware of it going into big competitive events like shop challenges, regionals, and things like that. And that's basically Fate. If you like this video, drop a like or a comment. Let us know how we did. That really helps us out. We're going to be releasing more of these Rush Rundowns on Mondays and Wednesdays, with our usual deck tech still coming on Fridays. Along with all these links up here on screen that we drop at the end of all our videos, we're going to link some sample deck lists down in the description, like 8-bar, coin flip, stuff like that to check out if you are more interested in the specifics of what you'd see going to a regional. I highly recommend you guys check out 8-bar Fate. A lot of those cards are very impactful, and there is counterplay to them, so just make sure you read through all of them and have a really good idea of this deck, because like I said, it is very, very popular, and you're very likely to run into it. With all that, I think we're done. Pittsburgh White Schwartz signing off. We'll see you all in the next one.